A Victoria businessman and newspaper tycoon is stirring up the Northern Gateway pipeline debate, maybe even changing the conversation altogether. David Black wants to build a $13 billion oil refinery near Kitimat to process crude from Enbridge's proposed pipeline. He says the refinery will create thousands of long-term jobs and will remove the threat of a devastating oil spill along our coastline. But he hasn't raised any money or won crucial support.
My company, Kitimat Clean Limited, is submitting an environmental assessment application to build a world-scale oil refinery in Kitimat, British Columbia.
With those words, David Black is hoping to change the debate on the proposed Enbridge Northern Gateway pipeline. He wants to build a refinery that could process all of the Alberta crude before it's shipped overseas, and he'd need a lot of manpower.
We're talking 6,000 workers for 5 years.
When construction is complete in 2020, Black says the refinery would employ 3,000 people full-time, and by refining the fuel before it ends up in a tanker off BC's coast, Black says we no longer need to fear a devastating oil spill.
Transporting refined fuels is a lot safer. Gasoline, kerosene, and diesel, which are the outputs of a refinery, all float and all evaporate.
Black says, like many in BC, he's concerned about the safety of Enbridge's pipeline project, but says he has faith the company can find a way to build a pipeline that won't leak. Black acknowledges that right now he doesn't have the support of Enbridge, First Nations, or the provincial government. He also doesn't have any investors, but is confident he can raise the $13 billion he needs.
The numbers all pan out. I've talked to investment bankers in New York and in Toronto, and they said, David, honest to God, with the presentation you're giving us, we could raise $13 billion in a week.
The Premier, who has been fighting a war of words with her counterpart in Alberta over potential pipeline royalties, didn't comment today, but the opposition has weighed in. The NDP calls Black's proposal ambitious, but says it can't support the refinery because it still relies on the pipeline that is a threat to BC's rivers and lakes.
I was in Kitimat, Terrace, Prince Rupert, and Haida Gwaii, and I couldn't find a single person who supported taking bitumen from Alberta and sending it off the north coast to markets overseas. I don't believe this proposal is going to change that perspective at all. The assumptions that Mr. Black is making about job creation, the assumptions he's making about markets just aren't realistic.
Horgan says the refinery sounds like a pipe dream, not a credible plan. David Black thinks he can pull it off.
Maybe I can't, but we'll try.